only mode.
Good morning. This is Jim Guinan with Insurance Agency Marketing in the Annuity Department. Appreciate your attendance today. My topic is the 401k prospecting today, and I really like this material. This is something that is close to me, market that I work when I can, when I'm not working here. So I wanted to share with you some ideas on 401k prospecting as far as rollovers, some ideas there to help you grow in that market, as well as in-service withdrawals, which is another aspect of helping retirees with their 401k money. And also we'll be visiting, among other things, about the DOL and the latest information that we've received about the DOL, and it's good. It's good news. So with that, I want to first of all let you know that our webinar today will be recorded. It's being recorded as we speak right now, or as I speak right now. So if for some reason you have to leave early or you'd like to listen to it later again, it will be available for your review. And of course, if you have any questions, if I don't get to those questions at the end of the webinar, if you do have a question and type it in, I will get back with you and respond with you and be glad to work with you on any questions that you have, and do the best that I can to help you. I am an active agent, and so I do work in the annuity market as well as life market, but primarily the last few years have focused a lot on fixed annuities for my clients. And I do prospect 401ks. I do have occasion to write, some business. So with that, I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your production and busy week. I know it was a short week this week. I hope all of you had a good Labor Day. And with that, I'll move on and talk with you a little bit about what's going on here at Insurance Agency Marketing. I'll try and keep this as short as I can, especially for those of you I know that have been on our webinars before. You know who we are. But I do want to tell you about some programs that continue to grow and continue to help attract people like yourselves to us. We do have our referred producer program. I just had an agent last week that we cut a check for $50. They're referral contracted and is working on a fairly good size annuity possibility. So again, we appreciate your referring producers to us. That tells us we're doing a good job. And of course, it saves money for our company and makes a more qualified prospect. So if you know of producers out there writing life and annuity business especially, let us know who those individuals are. We'll be glad to follow up with them. And as our way of saying thanks to you, we will compensate you for the referrals, as you can see on this particular page. Also, our marketing reimbursement program is continuing to move forward. As you're writing business with us, we will share in your expenses for your business. So depending on the care and the product you're writing, we'd pay $200 of marketing reimbursement for $100,000 of indexed annuity premium. For some carriers, it's $100, but what we do is we accumulate that in the account for you. And you don't have to use it by the end of the year. You can carry it forward. You can continue to build it. If you have a big expense coming up, maybe a seminar, or you're going to do several lead programs, anything that's business related, give us the receipts, and then we'll turn around and reimburse you for 50% of that expense. And that's ongoing. So again, agents that have been doing business with us for 15, 20 years, as long as the marketing reimbursement program has been going on, we're cutting checks to them for, their expenses. So we appreciate that business, and that's our way of showing it. The new producer bonus is also somewhat unique. I've been doing some research on our competitors. I can't find too many, if any, that have a new producer bonus for as little as $100,000 of annuity premium in your first 6 months of writing. But as you can see, as the more you write, the more we'll reimburse you, or reward you, I should say, for writing that business. So again, it's the first 180 days of writing business with us, as you meet those thresholds, that is what you'd be rewarded. So at the end of 6 months, 100,000 annuities, all that you've done. At that point, it's still $750 in cash to you if you decide to go the cash route. So again, new producer bonus for those of you that haven't done business with us or know about it. Our appreciation for you in placing your business with us. Our back office support is some of the best in the industry. We do have, I'm in the annuity department, so we do quite a bit of case design, trying to find the best products, running illustrations, and trying to search for products that match what your clients are needing. Of course, our new business department is scrubbing the applications and trying to take the load off of you. So whether it's contracting on the front end with Chris, helping you through that process and what's needed, help us in the product recommendations in the new business, helping you process the business, and in case management, getting that through. All those are things that we're to do. That's what we're paid to do by you, so that you don't have to sit on the phone or chase things down. So again, the paperless contracting has really helped streamline the process of getting appointed with more than one carrier. And so those are just some of the things that we do here at Insurance Agency Marketing for you. If you have a goal of increasing your presence with your clients or new prospects, either through perhaps newsletter, email newsletters that is, or if you've not had a website, for example, you want to learn more about how we can help you with that and what's involved, I would recommend to visit with our creative department, Josh or Tasia. They're available for you to talk and get some ideas. They can let you know what they're able to do for you and what may be involved with it as far as cost. Remember, again, your marketing reimbursement, once you've written business with us can be used for the cost on anything that they do for you. So again, let them know what they can do and how they can go to work for you. Our website has been recently updated. If you've not seen it, we do have a new website. Same address. It's www.iamsinc.com. That's IAMSINC.com. And we just recently upgraded, improved our website. So if you haven't been out there, or you have and just hasn't been a while, you want to check that out. As always, excellent sales tools available. We do have the ability for you to get term quotes, UL quotes. You can learn more about the annuity products. We do put our rate book out there every week. It's updated. That is the book that we all have at our desk, so that when you call, if you're looking for a product approval, again, not all of products can be on that, but we do have the best bonus products, the best multi-year rate guarantee annuities, indexed annuities by carrier, and the competitive income riders are all in that rate book, and that's available on the website. So also our webinar schedule, and there's other tools too. So if you want to check us out, again, we just upgraded the website in the last week or so. Our IAMS Wealth Management team is very busy these days. We have really grown this business, and if you're interested in learning more about our wealth management, please let Charles Hiring know. If you have, I'm going to launch a poll question here in a moment so that you can respond. If you'd like to know more about our RIA, let us know if we can get you information, or perhaps you have a question. Can't go into a lot of detail here. It's a webinar in itself as to what IAMS Wealth Management does. But again, we have decided to, I think, the DOL was part of the origination of the idea, but we are dedicated to growing this market. We see it as a way to help existing producers, to attract new producers, and help you grow your business with younger age clients. So again, if you'd like to know more about what's involved in getting a Series 65, what's involved as far as cost and what that business is more about, let us know. I will give you an opportunity here to ask a question or any feedback you have. And again, we can get you information. We can get you a phone call and give you more ideas about what's involved. Again, Charles Hiring Jr. is in charge of that department. And so let us know. Now, right now, I will take a quick discussion about the DOL. So what has happened recently with that is a delay on the DOL full implementation to July of 2019. So what we thought was January 1 of 2018 has now been pushed off. That does not mean that it still may not be implemented, and that one of the, as it's presently designed, one of the routes that a producer can go is to get aligned with a financial institution. The registered investment advisor was one of those institutions. So again, it may be something to look at in preparation down the road. And so if you'd like to know more, please respond, and we'll definitely get in touch with you or get you some information in your hands. Okay, Life and Annuity Academy. Moving on here. Actually, we have our Life and Annuity Academy for September going on right as we speak down the hall. Our September installment of the Academy is being held here in our brokerage office in Elkhorn, which is part of Omaha, Nebraska, as we speak. It started last night. It's going on now and will be tomorrow. It is a 2-day training. We have one more Academy on the schedule for this year. It will be November 1st through the 3rd. So if you have interest in that, let us know. We'll be glad to get you some information. After the webinar, we do send out some information on the Academy with a link, and has also the ability to register. We are accepting registrations for the November Academy. If you're a life producer, an annuity producer, would like to grow that business and like to advance more, let us know. We'd like to consider looking at your situation, and we'd be glad to look it over. Again, we have about 40 agents in the other room right now. Some of those are annuity writers, and many are life insurance writers also. So what we try to do is we put a lot of information in there in a 2-day training. We have a couple gentlemen here that work in the seminar market, and we'll offer that opportunity to explore a little bit more and talk about some advanced topics. Also, single premium life is discussed too. So again, let us know if you'd like to get more information on that, or have a call back from one of your life and annuity marketers, maybe somebody that you work with now, myself, that's fine. We do have a little shorter window for this next Academy, so please respond one way or another, and we'll be glad to follow up. Beyond that, we would be looking at next spring, most likely March or April is our next Academy. All right, well, we appreciate the response, and again, send your registration in, we'll review it, and the next Academy will be held in Des Moines, Iowa at Athene's home office, so we will want the producers that are invited to be contracted with Athene. So I want to tell you that too. Okay, and then our marketing summit is scheduled for next February, and this will be at a destination of Boulders Resort and Spa. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona. And from the information I've seen, and not been there, but the information I've seen and a recent video, this is a fantastic destination. Will be 4 days and 3 nights, and it will be both a social and an educational event. If you'd like to know more about that, let us know. But again, due to the DOL, a lot of these um, agent trips, so to speak, have now become also an educational event. So it is not just based on business that you write and so forth, but we hope to continue to offer summits like this. And we have not announced the next one, but this one will be next February, which is right around the corner. Okay, so I want to delve more into this prospecting the 401k market or the 401k market itself, and discuss with you some things that I've experienced and some ideas that might help you grow in this market, at least, you know, added as an additional area of prospecting with your existing clients or new people that you meet. So give a little background here, talking about what the potential is here for you. According to the Investment Company Institute, as of June 2014, 401k plans held an estimated 4.7 trillion in assets. And that represented nearly 20% of the 24 trillion in US retirement assets. And by comparison, 10 years earlier, that figure was 2.2 trillion. So how many people actually have 401k plans? Well, a few years back, nearly 80% of full-time workers had access to employer-sponsored retirement plans, and more than 80% of those participated in the plan. Now, when we get to companies that are a little larger, 500 employees, for example, those numbers improve. So 89% have access to a plan, and 90% of those will participate. Now let's talk about balances here. According to both Fidelity and Vanguard, for boomers ages 50 to 67, the average balance was over $126,000. And for those people that are over 55 in particular, the average balance is over 150. Again, also 61% of these 401k balances were invested directly or indirectly in equity securities. And in 2014, it was up to over 64%. So just a brief recap here. There is more money being held in 401k plans than ever before, and more workers have access to and are participating in these plans. And average balances are well over 100,000. Now, again, average balance may not be necessarily accurate because you're adding up all the assets and dividing by the amount of people. Certainly, those numbers might be a little high, but most of the people that you visit with that are that work for companies, private companies, will talk about their 401k. So many people are active in them. And of course, the other part of this is that many workers are changing jobs and careers. So with those changes come decisions, of course. So just a few years ago, the Department of Labor reported that the median job tenure is 4.6 years. And since people are changing their jobs more often, one of the decisions that they face is what to do with their retirement plan. It may not be necessarily the first thing that they have to deal with. They may be concerned about making sure health insurance is in place, and there's other things. But once they have left an employer, oftentimes one of the next things to do and decide is what to do with that retirement plan. Do I leave it where it's at, or do I move it to a new plan if available at that employer, or should I roll it over to an IRA? Okay, so some of the advantages of leaving a retirement plan where it's at least for some period of time, um, there's a number of reasons. I mean, based on individuals, there may be some business decision, there may be some financial decision to it. It may be emotional. One of the reasons could be simply uh, for a lack of knowing what to do. An individual may leave their plan where it's at. They may not know what to do exactly. There may be some things unknown about the new job that they may be uncertain about. So there's some uncertainty. Certainly another reason would be performance. If the current plan is done well, continues to do well, why change it? Another would be simply that it's just easier to leave it where it's at. It's one less decision to make. There are sometimes some specific tax advantages from the research I've read. Something I read said there was a 10-year forward averaging or capital gains treatment. I'm not an expert in taxes, and I've never run across that situation, but I've read that there may be some reasons why you'd want to leave it in the older plan. Beyond that, there could be a multitude of reasons why someone may want to leave it, but I think these are some key ones. And from discussions I've had with people and agents like yourself, sometimes it's performance and many times it's convenience. Some of the disadvantages of leaving a retirement dollars in a plan could be that the investment options may be limited or heavily in company stock. Okay. Plan fees could be higher than they should be, or they've been increasing, and they're getting kind of expensive. Another reason that many people want to consider moving it is lack of control or access, and another specific reason is that oftentimes there is a lack of a good fixed only option other than perhaps money market. Again, this is leading us to where this may go. But in 401k plans that I've had in my lifetime and some clients that I reviewed, often there's many stock funds, many mutual fund options with growth or total return, growth and income. There may be some bond options, which are fairly consistent in return, but again, not guarantee a principal. And then it's a money market. So there's not usually, you don't find a really good competitive fixed rate with no risk in there. So after some decision, the client, or some thought and decision, I guess, the client can move to a 401k, can move their 401k, into a traditional IRA. And again, I shouldn't say just that is not the only option. Again, if it's Roth 401k money, then that would be moved to a Roth IRA. So I want to make sure that's clear too, that there are Roth 401ks out there. And that, again, to be tax-free transferred has to go to a Roth IRA. So I should just say IRA. And so how do we help them with this? Again, there may not be an option to move the 401k into the new company position because it's either not available or they don't have one. So the client doesn't want to leave the money where it's at. We go to a new IRA as a direct transfer. So that's what we can do as insurance professionals. You don't have to have a securities license. If you have a life and annuity license, you can help someone with a fixed annuity. So the options would be broadly a fixed traditional with guaranteed rates or a guaranteed return, or a fixed indexed annuity. And so what are the advantages of doing that? Well, first and foremost, by definition of a fixed product, they are a guarantee of principal. So they cannot lose their principal Number two, there's no fees or expenses involved in a fixed annuity. Unless we get to the bottom bullet point, there could be if it's a rider, but as the product itself is written, there are no fees, no setup fees, there's no annual fees or expenses on a fixed annuity product. Of course, the biggest advantage that these, or one of the biggest advantages, is that the individual can participate in some growth of the market without downside risk. And that, by definition, is what a fixed index product does. Client does remain in 100% control of the account, and they can decide, do we want a product with a 5-year surrender length, or do we want something a little longer because it has better potential returns or better features. The client can decide that. That's something that's part of the decision making of the recommendation by the producer or by the agent yourself, is to find out, what time frame are we looking at here? What are we trying to make the most money, or are we trying to provide the best potential income, and when? And then, of course, choice of adding riders would be in that discussion, most commonly as an income rider. There are some death benefit riders on the marketplace also, but for the most part, the living benefit riders right now that we'd be referring to would be an income rider. Some product choices that could be considered, and there are many. By no means am I promoting these two products as the end all of everything, but just to give you an idea what is out there and competitive. If we're talking about a fixed indexed annuity and looking for income opportunities, we do see that Athene has been competitive in this marketplace for about a year now. I mean, they've been in the marketplace for income for quite a while, but in particular, the last year, they've been very strong. They have the Ascent Pro series. What's great about it is it gives the client some choices of either a guaranteed growth or a stacking, which means like a participating growth, and also several choices for income. But the bottom line has been very competitive on income payouts. It is income that can be taken after 30 days. So if you have someone that is rolling out money, they're retiring. They're not just leaving the employer, they're retiring, and they want income right away. This would be an option for them. Okay, so we can guide you on that. We can help you. We have the tools that can do the comparisons. There's quite a few companies, for example, that start income after 30 days. They're not the only one, but this would be a good carrier to be appointed with because Athene is competitive in both growth and income. So if we talk about someone that's 60 years old, wants to continue in the workforce, wants to move the 401k plan out into an IRA, they don't want any more risk, they want to guarantee the principal, but they're going to keep working. The option there would be a product that's designed for accumulation, and build it up for a few years, and then perhaps 10 years down the road, then they want to start thinking about income. An option there would be AIG's Power Select Builder. Now, this was built purely for growing assets. It has no income rider. They can take penalty-free withdrawals, but there are no income riders and no fees for a rider on it. It was designed for the client to grow the money, and then down the road, it's a 10-year annuity, and has one of the unique strategies in the Merrill Lynch strategy, strategic balanced strategy, I should say. So that has been a very competitive strategy. And again, they have capped and uncapped strategies in the product, so some flexibility. Again, those are just two carriers with some products. Again, those are two products that you might consider. Again, it's going to depend on the state you live in, if it's approved there. So depending on your state, the age of the person, how long they want to wait. Those are all factors that help us guide you with your clients and help them get the best options available for either income or growing those assets to take income from later down the road. So I did launch a poll question here. If you'd like to get more information on either of those companies and their products or get appointed with them, of course, we can help you with that too. I'd be glad to get the information out after the webinar. If you have any questions on either of those, certainly let me know or let the annuity team know if you've got somebody that you're already working with, and we'll be glad to guide you on that. Again, this is a great market to be in, continues to be a great market. You know the statistics, how many people retire every day, turn 65. It's a big number. And I'm not saying 65 is the only ones that are rolling money out, but there are a lot of prospects out there. We can increase our income every year by asking for more referrals. And so I appreciate your response on that. Moving on. Okay, so let's talk about prospecting. Some areas of where you can prospect the 401k plan that might help you a little bit. Again, maybe these are something that you've already been incorporating. But if there's one idea that I can help you with that gets you an additional sale in the next month or next 6 months, I'd be glad to do it for you. So here's my first hit list here. Would be existing clients during annual reviews. It could be with an existing client at any time. One discussion that could take place here would be for clients that you have worked with for a while. They probably have already moved their 401k money from a previous employer, but never overlook this. They could be someone that had left an employer years ago and still had a pension or a profit sharing plan of some kind, and they never did anything with it. Or you want to ask your clients about career changes, and we're always thinking about business and how can we get a better fact find, and did I ask them about their CDs, and did I ask them about their life insurance? But as you know those people, you want to have them let you know when they're thinking about changing a career, because that's an opportunity. So they may not think of that, but you should. The other thing is when you're visiting with existing clients or you're on your appointments, you want to ask for referrals and ask specifically the question, do you know anyone that's recently left their job or their position or that will be changing jobs? And they may say, well, why do you want to know that? Well, because those are people that have retirement plans like yourself, and just like yourself, just like I helped you with your 401k or your pension at one point, they're going to need some guidance. They're going to need to know where to go, how to do that process, because many people do not know. How do I move my retirement account? How do I do that? I don't want to get penalized. I don't want to get taxed. And what are my options? So again, that's where we plant that seed. You can also prospect business owners. We've been recently doing a lot of work here. I've been doing a lot of work here at IAMS with small businesses. We've had webinars. We've had some emails go out recently. You may have seen those about promoting another carrier that we work with, their small business pension program. Now, that's a great market too, and that's another webinar for another day. But those are individuals those are people that also, maybe you can't help them with their pension, with their business, or maybe they have that set up. But you can also talk with them about their own individual financial situation. And again, so prospecting business owners, you can call them or you can visit them and talk about their business. How's your business progressing? Do you know anyone? Have you had anyone in your business that's recently retired? Again, you may call on, you may target this by the type of if you've had an experience with mechanics or perhaps manufacturing companies, and you know how to visit with them, you could specifically target that business. Another one would be calling companies directly and approaching depending on the size of the company, approaching the owners, the managers, the HR departments. And of course, the lead companies, there are many of them out there. So I would say do your research on lead companies that promise you prospects with 401k rollovers. There's a lot of lead companies, and there's some reputable companies out there that you can use, and again, prospect in that market further. Okay, some sites that you may want to consider for 401k rollover potential. One is freearisa.com. Another is larkspurdata.com and judydiamond.com. And Judy Diamond has a 30-day free trial offer on their website. So if you go to judydiamond.com, you can actually they have a section there that you would click on if you want a 30-day free trial, so you can try that without paying for it. But what I know, Judy Diamond has access to all the companies in a certain region. If you put in a zip code, and they'll tell you what companies and what plan they have. But I would suggest trying that without paying, something you could experiment with as far as how that might help you. But again, those are some websites that you may want to research. Again, it gives data on companies. I believe it has, and most of them contact people that you can talk to. And again, I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do, but it may get, you never know. You might be able to get in with the business, learn more about them, and it could be a gold mine. All right, the other part of this market that I wanted to talk about today was called the in-service withdrawals. All right, so before or up till now, we've been visiting about the 401k rollover for those people leaving an employer or retiring or both. What we're talking about here in the in-service withdrawals is people that are still working, but have the ability to access part of their 401k plan while still working and move that into another IRA. Okay, so what we call it is the in-service. Another term, of course, is age-based in-service withdrawals. And what this means is withdrawing funds from an employer-sponsored qualified plan while continuing to work and contributing to the plan. So this withdrawal, if completed as a direct rollover, can allow actively working employees, and it's usually those 59 and a half or older, to purchase an IRA annuity or an IRA. It doesn't have to go into annuity, but an IRA annuity without incurring income taxes or penalties. So I have actually helped an individual with an in-service withdrawal that was 48 years old. So typically, though, it's 59 and a half. So these would be individuals that we can approach, clients that you have, that are they're still putting money into the 401k plan, but in the plan document has this feature that allows them to pull some money, withdraw some money out, and as long as it goes to a qualified plan, would be an IRA roller. So again, an opportunity. So some of the advantages of this would be the same advantages of a 401k rollover. So they would be able to maintain control over their retirement funds. They can expand their investment choices or offer a better fixed option. cannot lose principal. There's no fees or expenses. They participate in the growth of the market without downside risk. They have 100% control of the account, and they can add riders. So, some 401k plans are limited in investment choices. And so there's any number of selling points here that are good points to consider for a retiree or someone near retirement to consider withdrawing part of that, transferring it over, and using a fixed annuity. So they may want to continue to grow it. They just don't want to risk. So who are eligible individuals? Well, participants must meet certain requirements. Guidelines may include a minimum age restriction, and usually again 59 and a half. Length of service requirement, so often 2 to 5 years or both of these. And someone who's only at an employer 2 years wouldn't have that much in the account anyhow, if you think about it. But plans often limit withdrawals to vested employer matching contributions plus earnings, as well as rollovers and earnings from previous employer plans. So, although the size of this type of investment or this sale may not be as large, it could be if they had rolled a previous plan into this one. So again, we don't want to overlook this. This is certainly an opportunity to help people and increase your business and your profit. Excuse me. Okay, so which plans permit these? Well, profit sharing plans can, 401k plans, employee stock ownership plans, also cash balance, target benefit, and money purchase plans may permit this withdrawal. Some rules and potential issues that we should consider. Well, companies may impose penalties, including charges and suspension of plan contributions. So we want to know on behalf of our client what might be a reason to not do this. You may not be able to discover this, but they can. So, ask questions, ask the benefits people as to, what the pros and cons of doing this would be. I guess more cons. They might not know the pros of it, but they might know the cons. Okay, asset liquidation may result in penalties. Loans may be allowed in employer retirement plans, right? But they're not allowed in IRAs. So that, if that's something that we definitely want to know. So what steps are involved here? Well, first of all, it's really very simple. Have your client contact the Human Resource Department's retirement plan administrator or benefits department, whoever handles that administration of the retirement plan, to determine, does the plan allow it and are they eligible? So have them ask this question: can I take an in-service withdrawal? So if yes to both questions, does the plan have it and are they eligible? Which assets are eligible? How much can be withdrawn? Does the plan impose penalties, including suspension or deferrals of company contributions for these withdrawals? Excuse me. And what are the processing requirements and timelines? So once these questions are answered to your client's satisfaction and our satisfaction, the next step is to discuss options for transferring to an IRA. And in our situation, since we don't deal with variable products here, and neither do I, we're talking about a fixed annuity option, fixed or fixed index option. Okay, so just wrapping up here, our average participant, they don't usually understand all the options that are available to them. And I think they may understand that they need to do something, but they don't always know the steps of how to move their retirement money. I'm thinking about a couple years ago, I was in a doctor's office, and while I was waiting for the doc, the nurse asked me a couple questions, and then she said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And I told her. And she says, "Well, I just left a hospital in Montana to move to the Omaha area, and I have 2 checks in my purse." And I said, "When did you receive those checks?" And she said, "Oh, it's been over a couple months now." And she was, she already had an appointment scheduled with somebody, but again, she had retirement accounts that she had checks cut from in her possession. I didn't get to see them. I hope to goodness they weren't made out to her. The point is she just left, and she says, "I just told him I want my retirement money." So they understand that they need to move, but they don't understand the process. The process is important, and we can guide them. Our job is to try, of course, to write business, but we want to make sure we're giving them the right advice and the guidance, and to do that in as simple a way. It's not that hard to do a rollover. We want to make sure that we find out what paperwork is needed. Typically 401k plans, the plan has their own forms. Sometimes they'll accept transfer forms from an insurance company. And then, of course, the other key thing is to make sure that that check, when cut, is payable to the right people. So again, there is a lot of money to be made out there. And so if you have any questions from this, you're working on a rollover, or want to talk about prospecting, I would be glad to help you the best I can. We appreciate your time today, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. Thanks so much.